everyone, this is John with Front Range Anglers, and today I'm going to be showing you a super cool little egg pattern I like to do. It's one that, yet again, I consider my guide flies just because it's super simple to tie and doesn't take much time, but is crazy effective, especially when you're fishing eggs. So this is going to be kind of an Eggstasy egg, and in the vise we have a size 14 Umpqua X series Scud hook. And then for the bead, I'm just using a hot orange tungsten jig bead. It doesn't have to be jigged, it's just what I had, in size 2.8 millimeter. And then for the thread, just a bright orange. I'm using Veevus, but it doesn't matter a whole lot specifically what you're using. So all I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna get that bead about right in the center of the body. You want enough room up front to be able to basically build a little hot spot and put your materials in. So to start, I'm just kind of making the core of this egg, which is going to be the actual bead. And the nice thing about this Eggstasy yarn is when it gets wet, it almost gets kind of translucent. So that orange color comes through a lot, and it's a very nice touch when this pattern is wet. So I just like to cut off a little bit of strand of this Eggstasy. I'm using a fluorescent cheese is the color that they call it. Strip off a little bit of the fibers, and then I'm just going to do a simple little pinch wrap, get that nice and locked down. And then from here, as I'm actually wrapping this Eggstasy foam, I'm just going to be kind of pulling it back like that. That way it lays back on itself. First we're going to get that thread all the way to the front, get the core done, and as we do our wraps, we're just going to pull those fibers back to make sure they kind of fall back on the fly. Normally I only do about 3 to 4 wraps, and then from here you're going to want to just kind of split off and tease off the fibers of that Eggstasy material. That way you can capture it a lot easier. Ooh, if my hands want to play with me. There we go. Something just like that. Don't need to do a lot, just 1 or 2 turns to kind of separate those off. And then I'm going to go ahead and come in with the scissors. Cut that bad boy off like that. Pull those fibers back. See how they kind of want to lay over that bead. And on camera, you're not going to be able to see that accent point working that well for you, but when it gets wet, that's when the magic happens. So that's why I like this fly a lot. I just build up a nice little accent point for the head, kind of going back on those fibers to make sure they naturally would just want to tail back. And then we are done. Gotta do about a 3 or so turn whip finish. I'm actually just gonna end it there, that way it doesn't cloud the eye too much. Tighten that back, and then we go in and trim it. This is a great pattern, you know, fish and egg season for sure, but I like to use it as an attractor pattern, especially like in the winter. You know, a lot of those trout are sometimes going to be keying in on high protein food sources, so even if it's not right in season for them, it can still be a super great fly to have on there. It's has a little bit of weight to it with that tungsten bead, so it can still get down, but it's not a crazy heavy fly, and just one I love to use, and especially when in that spring and fall time, killer pattern to use overall.